They say birthdays are meant to make you feel special, cherished, celebrated. But for me, it was just another reminder that in this house, I didn't matter. 42 years old today, and I'm still buying my own birthday cake. My name is Allison Monroe. I'm the CEO of a thriving event planning business just outside of Chicago. From the outside, it looks like I have it all, but on the inside, I'm invisible in my own home. My husband Evan hasn't held a job in over 5 years, but if you ask him, he's managing things behind the scenes. He lounges on the couch while I manage the finances, the clients, the housework, and everything in between. And then there's Margaret, his mother. To her, Evan is a saint, and I'm the ungrateful wife who doesn't support her son emotionally. Support? I've been carrying this family on my back for 2 decades, but no matter how much I give, they always want more. That evening, Evan finally walked through the front door. No happy birthday, no smile. Just the sound of a plastic bag rustling in his hand. Yo, here. He tossed the bag at me without a glance. Inside was a smashed cupcake with a yellow clearance sticker slapped on top. This is it? What, you wanted fireworks? It's just a birthday. You should be thanking me. I could have come home empty-handed. That cupcake wasn't just a symbol. It was a slap in the face. A reminder that to him I was disposable, forgettable. Less than. And the worst part? I didn't even cry. I just stared at the crushed frosting and thought, this is what 20 years of marriage gets you. I placed the cupcake on a plate even though it barely held together. The frosting was smeared, half of it stuck to the plastic bag. It looked as tired as I felt. I lit a single candle and stood there in silence, waiting for someone, anyone, to say something. Evan sat on the couch, flipping through TV channels like he hadn't just humiliated me. Lucas, our son, was still upstairs, studying for his college entrance exams. Evan, did you even tell Lucas it was my birthday? Why would I? He's got his own stuff going on. No need to bother him with cake and candles. I blew out the candle without making a wish. What was there to wish for anyway? I'd already wished on too many empty birthdays, too many anniversaries forgotten, too many nights I cried myself to sleep in the bathroom just so no one would hear me. Margaret used to tell me that being a good wife meant sacrificing, giving without asking, loving without expecting. But no one ever taught her or Evan that love is a two-way street. Later that night, I overheard Evan on the phone in the kitchen. His voice was hushed, but not enough to keep me from hearing. Yeah, man, don't worry about the cash. She won't notice. She never does. She's got that company running like a money tree. Money tree? Was that all I was to him? A walking bank account? I didn't say anything. Not yet. But inside, something began to shift. The cracks that had been forming for years were finally becoming impossible to ignore. The next morning, I woke up early, before the sun, before Evan, before the weight of the day had a chance to crash over me. I made coffee in silence, as I always did. Black for me, 2 sugars, 1 cream for Evan. Not because he asked, but because after 20 years of being ignored, I still clung to the little rituals that made me feel like someone cared. I heard the front door creak. And just like that, without a call, without a knock, Margaret barged in. Allison, you're up early. I hope that means you finally had time to clean the guest room. It's a mess. I cleaned it 2 days ago, and you weren't supposed to be here today. Well, I'm here now. Evan said you were too busy to cook lately, so I brought him breakfast. A real one. She held up a bag from his favorite diner like it was some victory prize. She never brought food for me. Never asked how I was doing. Just more reminders that I was never enough. Not for her, not for Evan. You know, back in my day, a woman knew her place. She didn't run off playing CEO while her husband sat alone at home. Evan hasn't had a job in 5 years, Margaret. He's not sitting alone. He's playing video games and racking up debt. Oh, so now you're going to throw it in his face? He's under a lot of stress. You have no idea what men go through these days. I almost laughed. No idea? I've been working 60 hours a week, running a company, paying the mortgage, the bills, the groceries, and still trying to be a mother and a wife. And she thought I had no idea? I know exactly what stress looks like, Margaret. I see it every time I look in the mirror. She scoffed, rolled her eyes, acted like I was a spoiled child who dared to speak up. But this time, I didn't back down. This time, I let her see the edge in my voice. I wasn't going to let them gaslight me anymore. Lucas wasn't like his father, where Evan was loud and entitled. Lucas was quiet and observant. He didn't talk much. but when he did, it mattered. He'd always been the kind of kid who noticed when I was tired. He'd bring me tea without saying a word, or slip sticky notes under my office door that said, "You got this, Mom." When I was drowning, Lucas kept me afloat. One evening after dinner, Lucas knocked on my office door. He didn't usually do that unless something was wrong. "Hey, Mom, can we talk?" "Of course, sweetheart. What's up?" "It's about your company's server. I was checking it out after the outage last week, and, well, your network security is kind of outdated. Vulnerable." "Oh. Yeah, I've been meaning to upgrade it. It just keeps getting pushed to the bottom of the list." "I know. You're always busy, but someone could easily get in if they really wanted to." "That's not comforting." "Don't worry. I already started setting up a new firewall, and I wrote a custom encryption layer. Nobody's getting through that unless they know exactly what they're doing." I stared at him, a little stunned. He was 17. 17, and he had just quietly saved my company. You did all that on your own?" "Yeah. I've seen how hard you work, and I figured if I can help you, even a little, then maybe it'll take something off your shoulders." I felt the tears welling before I could stop them. Not from sadness, not from exhaustion, but from that rare, gut-deep feeling of being seen. "You're amazing. You know that?" I do okay," he shrugged, trying to play it off like it was no big deal. But it was. It was everything. In that moment, I knew something for sure. No matter what happened with Evan and Margaret, I wasn't alone, and I wasn't powerless. The following week, I sat down to review the quarterly expense reports from the company. It was just supposed to be a routine audit, but my heart sank as I looked at the flagged transactions. Luxury watches from a downtown boutique, dinners at steakhouses I'd never set foot in, $2,000 at a casino in Indiana. None of it had my approval, and every charge was made using the company's executive credit card, the one I'd issued to Evan years ago, back when I still believed he might contribute. I never revoked it. Biggest mistake of my life. I printed the report and confronted him that evening. He was in the living room half asleep with a bag of chips balanced on his stomach. "Evan, we need to talk. Now." "Can it wait? The game's on." "No, it can't. Do you know anything about these charges?" I threw the stack of papers on the coffee table. "Yeah, those were for business development. Networking, you know. Casino chips and Rolex watches are not business development." "Oh, come on. You're the CEO. Write it off." He said it like it was the most natural thing in the world. Like stealing from my company was just another Tuesday errand. "You've been using company money to bankroll your personal crap, Evan. This is fraud." "Fraud? Get off your high horse. It's our company." "What's yours is mine, remember?" "No. What's mine is mine. You haven't lifted a finger in 5 years. His eyes narrowed. The fake charm slipped away, revealing something colder. "You're really gonna pull this? After everything I've done for this family?" "What have you done, Evan? Tell me. Because all I see is a man who's perfectly content to watch his wife burn herself out while he plays victim." He didn't answer, because he didn't have one. I walked away without another word. But my hands were shaking, not from fear, from fury. From the realization that I had let this go on far too long. The next morning, I contacted my company's attorney. Her name was Vanessa Blake, sharp, calm, and fiercely loyal. She'd been with me since I started the business from my kitchen table. When I explained everything, the embezzlement, the misuse of funds, the growing danger, she didn't hesitate. "Start documenting everything, every charge, every conversation, every text. We'll freeze his corporate access, issue a formal revocation, and prepare to terminate his role as an officer immediately." That same day, we shut down Evan's access to all company accounts. His corporate card was deactivated. His key fob to the office, wiped. His email account, locked out. It was surgical, precise. I didn't tell him. I didn't need to. He'd find out soon enough, and he did. That evening, Evan stormed into my home office, waving his phone like a torch. "What the hell is going on? I just got locked out of everything. You're freezing me out of my own company?" "You were never part of the company, Evan. You were a courtesy title, and you abused it. This is betrayal. I trusted you." "No, you used me, and I'm done letting it happen." He stood there stunned, speechless for the first time in years. I thought that maybe, just maybe, he'd reflect, take responsibility. But of course that wasn't Evan. Instead, he tried to manipulate the one person he always turned to, his mother. The next day, Margaret showed up in full fury, dragging a rolling suitcase behind her, like she was moving in for battle. "Allison, how dare you embarrass my son like this? Evan is a good man. You've pushed him too far. No wonder he's stressed." "He stole from me, Margaret, for my company. That's not stress, that's crime. He did what he had to do. A man has to feel powerful in his home. But you walk around like some queen with your CEO title. Maybe if you acted more like a wife and less like a boss, none of this would have happened." Words stung, not because they were true, but because they were so familiar. This was what I'd heard for 2 decades. And I was done hearing it. "You need to leave, today." "Oh no, I'm not going anywhere. This is my son's house, which means it's my house too." "No, Margaret, it's my house. I paid for it, every brick, every shingle, and I have the deed to prove it." That night I changed the locks, and I slept without checking over my shoulder for the first time in months. A few nights later, as I was finishing up invoices, Lucas walked into my office again. His face was serious, too serious. "Mom, I think someone tried to breach your server last night." "What? How?" "They used admin credentials, old ones that belonged to Dad." My stomach twisted. He wasn't just lashing out emotionally. He was coming for my livelihood. Were they successful? They got in, but everything was encrypted. All they walked away with were files full of scrambled code, completely unreadable. He sat down at my desk and pulled up the interface. I added a few traps too, so if he tries to sell that data to someone shady, they'll figure out pretty quick that he's playing them. Could buy us some time. Lucas, you just saved the company. And maybe more than that. The next morning, I got a call. A no number. I hesitated before picking up. "What the hell did you do? The files are garbage. Encrypted with some kind of alien code or something. I've got a buyer who's threatening me." "You tried to sabotage my company." "I needed leverage." "No, Evan, you needed help. And instead of asking for it, you chose destruction. You made your bed, now you get to lie in it." He went silent. For once, he didn't scream, didn't insult, didn't threaten. Because I think he finally realized the truth. I wasn't scared of him anymore. I wasn't under his control, and I was just getting started. 3 days passed, 3 days of silence, no calls, no texts, no passive-aggressive voicemails from Margaret. It almost felt peaceful. Too peaceful. And then the phone rang. Blocked number. I let it ring once, twice, 3 times. I should have let it go to voicemail, but something told me to answer, so I did. "Allison, please, I need your help." "What kind of help?" "They're coming after me." My blood turned cold. He wasn't yelling. He wasn't angry. He was terrified. I tried to sell the data. Thought I could bluff my way through it, but it's all encrypted. Your damn nerd son locked it all up. My nerd son saved everything I've worked for. I didn't know they were serious. These people, they're not just hackers. They're connected. They want their money back or the real data. And I've got neither. I sat in silence, staring at the wall. It wasn't sympathy I felt. It was something colder. Final. "Allison, please. Tell me what to do." "You want me to fix what you broke?" "You have to. I'm your husband." "No. You were my husband. Now, you're just a man who tried to burn down everything I built. You did it with a smile." He sobbed. I don't know if it was real or performance, but it didn't matter. "You need to turn yourself in before they catch you." "No way. If I go to the cops, I'm dead." "If you don't, you're dead anyway." Later that week, I came home from the office to find Margaret waiting on my front porch. She looked unhinged. Her hair was a mess, her lipstick smudged. She was gripping a wrinkled designer handbag like it was a lifeline. You're gonna pay for this." "Good evening, Margaret." "Did you lose your mind on the way over?" "Don't play coy with me. I just got a call from Evan. He's hiding in some motel in Indiana. Says you set him up." "No, Margaret. He set himself up. I just stopped protecting him from the consequences." She stomped up the steps right into my personal space. "You poisoned him against me. You made him weak. He used to be a proud man. Now he's a fugitive. He was always weak. You just dressed it up in pride and called it strength. She looked like she wanted to hit me. For a second, I thought she might. Instead, she screamed, a deep, cracked, frustrated sound, like a dying animal. You're a disgrace. You were never good enough for my son. And yet, I kept this entire family afloat. Paid your rent, paid for Evan's car, even paid for your stupid spa membership. While you both spat in my face. You'll regret this. You'll end up bitter and alone. No, Margaret, I'm already alone. But I've never felt this free. And with that, I closed the door in her face. No yelling, no slamming. Just a quiet, satisfying click of the deadbolt sliding into place. Vanessa filed everything within days. A full legal report, complete with financial statements, transaction history, email records, even a video clip of Evan bragging about draining the company account. We pressed charges for embezzlement and attempted corporate sabotage. Evan was arrested 2 weeks later just outside a roadside motel. He looked like a ghost, unshaven, sleepless, his belt replaced with a frayed shoelace. When the officers cuffed him, he didn't resist. He didn't say a word. The court hearings moved faster than I expected. Vanessa was brilliant. The evidence was airtight. And Evan? He tried to spin it, of course. He blamed me. He blamed Lucas. He blamed society. She froze me out. She turned my own son against me. I built that company with her. You built nothing. I started that company with a laptop, a folding table, and $200. You were never part of the business. You were just a name on paper. And when you had the chance to support me, you chose to steal from me instead. The judge didn't need long. Evan was sentenced to 2 years in federal prison for financial fraud and attempted data theft. He was also ordered to pay restitution. Not that I expected to see a single cent. But the win, the real win, was watching the illusion shatter. His lies, his ego, his entire performance crumbling like ash in front of a silent courtroom. Margaret didn't attend the hearing. She'd vanished, probably too ashamed or too proud. Or maybe she finally realized her golden boy wasn't quite so golden after all. She left a voicemail once, a long bitter ramble about betrayal and disgrace. I deleted it before it finished. That chapter was over, and everything was finalized. After Evan was behind bars and Margaret was legally banned from contacting me or Lucas, we left Chicago, packed up the house, sold the business building, cut ties with everything and everyone that ever reminded me of who I had to pretend to be. Lucas and I moved to Seattle. We rented a little 2-story in a quiet neighborhood near the bay. We painted the walls whatever colors we wanted. We ate takeout on the floor. Adopted a golden retriever we named Jasper. Lucas got into the University of Washington. Computer science, full ride. He didn't want a graduation party. Just a quiet dinner with me and a new pair of headphones. You don't have to make a big deal about it, Mom. Just knowing we're finally good, that's enough. I did cry that night. Not out of grief, but out of peace. The kind of peace that feels so unfamiliar, it almost hurts. I didn't realize how much I'd been holding my breath for the last 20 years. And finally, I could exhale. I still run the company, remotely now. Smaller, more selective, more meaningful. I choose the clients I want to work with. I set my own pace. And I sleep through the night, every night, without a single pit in my stomach. One evening, over dinner, Lucas looked up from his laptop. You know, you should start writing this all down someday. Like, all of it. Everything that happened. It might help someone else going through the same thing. Maybe I just did. Sometimes I wake up before the sun, and for a few seconds I forget everything that's happened. The chaos, the silence, the betrayal. And then I remember. But now, instead of dread, I feel relief, because I survived it. All of it. Margaret, last I heard, she tried moving in with a cousin in Tampa. That lasted 2 weeks before they kicked her out for emotional terrorism, as the cousin reportedly called it. Evan was released on probation after 18 months. No job, no home. He tried launching a podcast about toxic women ruining America. It has 7 listeners. 3 were bots. 2 were trolls. One was probably Margaret. He emailed me once, begged for a second chance, promised he'd changed. I didn't even open it, because some doors, once you close them, they stayed closed. Lucas was thriving. He joined a cybersecurity research group, built his own software, even did a TEDx talk called Rethinking Digital Boundaries in a Chaotic World. He never mentioned his father, never once looked back. That was his choice, just like I had made mine. I used to believe being a good wife meant sacrifice, meant silence, meant shrinking yourself until you could squeeze into whatever version of a woman they expected you to be. But not anymore. Being good isn't about giving until there's nothing left. It's about choosing yourself when no one else will. It's about saying no more to the gaslighting, no more to the guilt, no more to the chains. I am not bitter. I am not broken. I am not ashamed. I am free. And to the woman listening to this, sitting in her car after work or folding laundry in silence, wondering if anyone sees her, I see you. You're not crazy. You're not selfish. And you are not alone. This was my story, but it might be yours too. And maybe, and just maybe, it's time to start writing a new chapter. One where you are the main character, where you stop surviving and start living. Where you choose yourself and never apologize for it again.